When I was a young girl, my grandmother told me stories about her life living in a gold mining town. My grandmother, Anna Hilford Elvira Robertson, was born the 9th of December in 1890 in Park City, Utah. When she was 8 years old, her father had gotten a better job in a gold mining town in Victor, Colorado. So in 1898, they moved from Park City, Utah to Victor, Colorado. Her father worked in the gold mines and was also a farmer, as they had property outside of town and had horses and chickens and cows. I was surprised that Grandma could still remember the names of the horses they had. Some of those names were Shorty, Bob, Nancy, Molly, and then of course there was Maud. My grandmother and her sister Elsa delivered milk and eggs to the people who lived in the town of Victor. All of the horses were trained to know where and when to stop on the milk route. If several customers lived in the same block, they would get out and deliver and tell the horse to go on, and the horse would head on down the street, stopping at just the right house. Once in a while, Shorty would pull a little sneaky, and he would go 2 or 3 houses on, and then stop. And of course he would get scolded, but that didn't seem to do any good. He would do it again someday. One winter day, they were on the milk route, coming down the street, and that street was a sheet of ice. Although Shorty had good chocks on his shoes, he decided he wasn't going to take any chances. So he sat down on his haunches and he slid down the street, much to the surprise of all the people that were around the depot and the mule skinners that were loading up their gondolas. She also told me about the day they married. She married Archie Oliver Chambers. They went together for over 6 years and were married Thanksgiving Day, 26th of November, 1914. Her sister Elsa was a bridemaid, and her best friend Carla was her matron of honor. And Thomas Chambers, Grandpa's brother, was the best man. Her mother prepared a dinner and a beautiful wedding cake for about 30 guests. She said that they received many beautiful and unusual gifts. Well, years later, she and my grandfather had 2 homes. One was a ranch in the country, and the other was in the city of Victor. She also told me about the times there were large fires in Victor and that homes burned. She and grandfather decided to move out to the ranch because of being afraid of the fires in town. They had moved all but 1 load and left the children and Grandma's father at the ranch. They went back into town for the last load, and upon returning to the ranch, it had burned to the ground. The only possessions was the load that they had just picked up, among which was a hand-painted, gold-rimmed plate, which I now have. Oh yes, this plate was one of their wedding gifts.